On time to start. My name is Daniela Bachner. I am project advisor in the Life Energy and Life Climate unit in CINEA. So CINEA is the Climate Infrastructure and Environment Executive Agency of the European Commission. What we do is basically to manage a wide range of funding programs for the European Commission, under which is LIFE, the LIFE program. But today we are going to hear a project from our predecessor program, which was Horizon 2020. You are all familiar with that. The project we are going to hear about today is support for small and medium-sized municipalities in the French region of Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes. And basically what the project is doing is to provide tools and services to those municipalities in order to increase the renovation rate of public buildings and to increase the ambition of those renovations. And I'm happy to introduce now our two speakers of this session today, which is Marie Champmouchin from ADEME, which is the project coordinator, as well as Rogelio Bonvilla from the Energy and Environment Agency of the region. And we have a little surprise now for you. So I would ask you to please forget what I have just told you about who the speakers are, because we have very different roles now. Enjoy the session, and you are allowed and very welcome to ask questions afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. So I'm going to start by telling you about the context of the project. So in a land far south that extends from the volcanoes of Auvergne through the river, through the Rhône River Valley and into the Alps, there is conveniently known as Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, was born a very unique project known as Bapaura. So this project is financed by Horizon 2020, and there are 4 objectives, very clear objectives. The first one is to renovate 115 public buildings, to invest 23.7 million euros, to generate 7.8 gigawatt hour of energy savings per year, and to build a replicable renovation support service that allows any small and mid-sized municipality to renovate their building stock. So the challenge that Bapaura has set itself to overcome is to bridge the technical and resource skill gap. Oftentimes, small and mid-sized municipalities potentially partially renovate their public buildings without reaching their full potential of energy savings. So to turn this trend around, Bapaura created a public one-stop shop that provides commissioning to small and mid-sized municipalities. But what is commissioning, Marie?
Yes, so commissioning is a technical term that refers to quality service during the life of a renovation project, from the beginning of the decision of starting renovation works to the reception of the works. And it assures some coordination between the different actors of the project, which are municipality services, work companies, consultancies, etc. And it provides the municipalities an unbiased technical, financial, and administrative support to help the municipality make the best project that they can. That's it. But we will explain.
Yeah, okay. So now, in order to showcase and to demonstrate how this commissioning process works, we, as Daniela was saying, we will embody different roles to show you exactly how the commissioning takes place. So Marie will play 2 roles: that of the commissioning or the support service, that of the construction company, Daniela will play the role of the teacher or the user of the building that will be renovated. And myself, I will play the role of the mayor. I've been told that what I'm doing right now is illegal in France. Thankfully, we're in Belgium. So please don't turn don't turn me in. Okay. So thanks, Marie, for coming
Welcome.
to my town. We come to you because we have problems with our energy bills in our municipality. There's problem with comfort in the building, and we want to renovate the building and make it a way to boost the, the the downtown of our small 480 inhabitant town, and we have a 400 square meter building to renovate. What solutions could you provide for us, please?
Okay, so first you need to make an energy audit of your building to have an idea of the diagnosis of its efficiency. But also during the process of the renovation project, we have a service that we can provide you and that will explain that to you. So first, you need to draft the contents of your project without forgetting anything, because once you do a renovation project, you won't come back on this building in 2 or 3 years. You need to face all the problems all at once, because you will probably need to close your building during the phase, and even with that, it's heavy in the administrative form, technical form. It's a heavy investment also for your municipality. So you really don't want to come back on this building in 5 years because you forgot something. So we will help you draft the contents, and we will help you confirm the transposition of your needs into the content of the project document. And this is very important at this phase. And we can also help you define specific objectives, like in terms of energy efficiency objectives. Do you want to reach a target of 30% of energy efficiency, 40, 50, and we can help you define that. After this phase, during the tendering process, we can help you analyze the proposals of the different construction companies to make sure that they answer correctly your needs, and to assess the coherence and relevance of the proposals that you will receive. And after, we can participate as well in the selection committee of the works companies. During the works phase, what we can offer you is one visit of the works to make sure that everything is going on smoothly and that there are no problems in the works site, and check the problems, and if there are any, we can report them to you. But you are still the contracting authority, and we will not replace your job. We are just here to give you some advice and some assistance, but you're still the person who will sign everything. So that is a service we can offer you, and it will take about between 10 and 15 days of service to help you in that.
Okay, that sounds exactly what we need, because we are very short-staffed. We're only 3-4 people working at the mayor's office, so we really could use your help. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start in the programming phase, which is the first phase of the renovation works, which is defining your needs. So it's better if you have a user of the building to testify of what's right or wrong in the building, because they are we renovate for them at the very end. So.
Yeah, so there are several uses of the building, but one of them is some classrooms. I don't know if, Daniela, you could tell us about the comfort of the building.
Yes, I'm so happy that you're here, because the building is a misery, really. The kids cannot concentrate on their exercises. They cannot concentrate and focus on learning, because in winter it's cold. The air is coming in through the windows constantly. In summer it's too hot. So really they cannot make use of their whole potential. There needs to be done something immediately.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So yeah, as you can see, we have several problems. We were thinking maybe even with hotter and hotter summers to install air conditioning. We really don't know what solutions we can.
Yeah, you need absolutely to face the problem of summer comfort as well, because often you think about winter comfort, but in France and in Europe, the problem you will face more and more is obviously the heat waves in summer. So we need to have technical solutions for that. Also, you know that in school there are some regulations about ventilation and air quality, for instance. So we advise you to do a full installation of your building all at once. And also, have you thought about installing, for instance, some renewable energy production on your building? Like you have a roof and you could install some solar panels?
Yeah, we're open to any solutions that you can suggest. We've seen towns, bigger towns that are neighbor to us that have solar panels, and we would like to also have some of those very good installations.
Okay, so as well for energy production, have you thought about that? Because you currently have a fuel boiler, and as you said, it's quite expensive at the moment, the fuel prices, of course. And we would recommend to you to install some biomass boilers because you have some local resources with your forest, etc. So you could also have an opportunity to create a local provision of wood. So that would be good for the local economy as well. So that's why we would recommend you to do.
Yeah, this all sounds great. I will consult the construction company and come back to you with what they conclude.
Okay. Okay.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you very much for coming to our town. I called you here because we want to renovate our building, and the proposition that we have with our consultant is to insulate the building from the inside, install some solar panels, replace the rooftop, and insulate also the roof. Uh, we want to change the fuel boiler for a wood pellet boiler. What do you think? Could you do this works, please?
I think it's complicated and expensive, to be honest. To do the installation from the inside, it can be done, but it will be very complicated and, as I said, very expensive. As well for wood boiler, yes, can be done as well, but I would strongly recommend you a gas boiler, which is much cheaper on the investment, and it will take a small place in a room, so no place at all. While with biomass boiler is bigger. So let me offer you an estimate of what we offer. As you see, the gas boiler it's really small and you don't need more. Just for the inside insulation, I would recommend you to forget about that. But you can still change your windows. This will make a great difference. So that's what I would recommend with your finances. Just don't invest too much right now. Go for an easy solution.
Ah, that sounds great. I'm glad that I'm gonna save some money. Thank you. I will get back to you.
Okay, so did you receive any proposals from?
Yeah, so I received a very interesting proposal. Basically, a much cheaper proposal that will take lots less time to build. They suggested that we just change the boiler for a gas boiler, and that we forget about the insulation from the inside and just change the windows, and that should be enough to gain some energy savings.
Well, I mean, the local works companies often provide ideas of what they can do, what they know, and what they are confident into. So they used to put gas boilers, but in your case, it would not be so interesting because we did some financial simulations, and if you think in terms of global costs, that's right that the wood boiler will be more expensive, but on the long term, you will save money. Gas is currently very expensive. Also, you have in your municipality, you have some energy efficiency objectives, and you have also a policy of green city, etc. And as you know, wood is a renewable resource, gas is not. So you need to stick to your objectives. And about the money and how much it would cost, you know that there are some public subsidies in France that you can have access to only if you reach a certain amount of energy efficiency. And for the basic of state funding, you need 40% of energy efficiency. So you need to be ambitious in order to save money, because you will have access to, you can reach up to 80% of public subsidies for your project, but only if it is ambitious enough. Otherwise, you won't have some subsidies, and you will need to come back on your buildings in 10 years maybe. So we strongly advise you to do an ambitious project, expensive, but with lots of subsidies, and in the long term, you will really save money for your municipality.
Thank you. I'm glad that I came to you. Otherwise, I would have gone for the cheaper option. I will let them know immediately.
So, have you decided?
Yes. So I consulted with my staff, and we've come to the conclusion that we have the best solution if we invest in the most ambitious project, because we can apply for a lot of subsidies, and in the long term we would gain so much more energy savings if we go for the full renovation, and it will be an example for our citizens if we really invest in the solar panels and in the wood pellet boiler.
Okay.
So could you do that for us?
Yeah. So here is a second estimate. With inside insulation, roof insulation, windows replacement, a biomass boiler that you requested specifically, and some PV panels for this amount of money, so 900,000 euros. So as I said, it is complicated, it will be expensive, but if you said that you have some subsidies, I mean, it's up to you, you decide. So yeah, we can do it.
Let's go for that option, please. Yeah. Thank you.
So a few months later, in the work site. So while I am visiting the work site, what do I notice? So Mayor, I just visited the work site, and I noticed that some insulation materials are just put on the floor. So there is a high risk of moisture and of decaying of the materials. Even if you don't notice it right now, it can happen in 1 or 2 years after, when they put it on the walls. And you can face some problems with the materials at that moment. So I would advise you to say that to the construction company so that they can fix it and put the isolating material on another place. And also in the window, there is a small gap between the window and the wall. So they need to fix the wall first before changing the windows. So they have to be really careful about that, because otherwise you will have some problem of air tightness. And of comfort, and it will lower the quality of the renovation works. So just tell them that, and they should fix the problems.
I will tell them to fix that immediately. Thank you very much.
So a few months later, so here is your building. It's renovated with success, but yeah, you should ask the user what they think of the building to make sure that.
So, what do you think of the new building, of your classroom, Daniela?
It's great. The kids love it. We enjoyed so much being there. It's really comfortable. No air anymore coming through the windows. Great.
Okay. And the service is not ended yet, because we need to the few first years of the project to fix the regulations and to make sure that there are no deviances of energy consumption from to the objective of your energy consumption. So you will have to give us your energy bills in the first few years of the project, because if there are any deviances, it might be that the wood boiler is not completely well fixed, or we can make some small adjustments to it, to the boiler, etc., just to be sure to reach the objectives. And the first few years are really, really, really important for you to reach your target of energy efficiency.
Great. Thank you very much, Marie. I'm glad I reached out to you. This would have not been possible without you.
Okay, so I hope that we explain what commissioning is about, because usually we explain it theoretically and people don't always understand in the very beginning. So we wanted to make it quite understandable, so we made it. So there are 3 key points to remember. So in Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, we are doing it at the regional level with a network of advisors who are trained and share experiences and tools. So 11 partners work together, share tools, best practices, in order to provide the best service to their municipalities. As we said before, we are currently supervising the renovation of 140 now public buildings, mostly schools or small buildings with many functions in very rural areas. We also need political commitment at 2 different levels for these projects. Municipalities are really willing to make some renovation works and just not asking for energy audit just to know something, but there must be a political will in the municipalities. Otherwise, it's no use. And also, it should involve everyone in the municipality team. So the technical team, but also financial one, because it's very heavy investments, but there are some returns on investments with renovation works. So this needs to be clear from the beginning, just so you are not afraid with the cost of the investment only, but you also are aware of the global cost in 20 years if you keep going with the building or if you renovate it. And very often it is interesting to renovate the buildings, even ambitious projects. And also to have an efficient service, there must be a full and skilled service. So as I said before, in Bapaura, this service that we presented, it takes between 10 and 15 days of a person of a technical person to provide that to the municipality. So this person must be paid. So usually we put them at a regional or local level. And it's a small amount when you consider the total amount of the investment you have to put in renovation works. So it's definitely worth it, but still there must be a political will to pay for this service. And in Bapaura project, this service is supported by association of municipalities or groups of municipalities. And the 3rd point, obviously, there must be trust between the advisor and the municipality. The interest of having this service as a public service is that you will have an unbiased advice, because too often we notice that the works companies do what they are used to, like gas boilers, for instance, as we explained. I mean, it's all based on true facts, what we presented you before, and true numbers. And also, it's very important that service starts at the very beginning of the project and not wait for that the municipalities have some problems with the works companies before they call for the advisor, because otherwise it's not efficient. They arrive in the middle of the project, they don't know what it is. If it's badly conceived, it is too late to come back on the design of the project at this phase. So they should be involved from the very beginning. And also, obviously, municipalities should trust their advisors and take into account the advice they give, because it's in their best interest and they pay for this service. So we finished. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Marie and Rogelia. I can see there is already a question. You receive a microphone back there. Please go ahead.
I have a question for the mayor. So I would like to know, at the beginning, you show a map and you cover more or less half of the region. Well, and I would like to know if you intend to continue for the second half.
Yes, thank you for that question, Dominique. So it's not exactly that we intend to cover the other half of the region, but we obviously had to have all the points that Marie mentioned. So the political involvement and the will to really work on this. So these are the main regions that wanted to work on this. During the project, we're working on pairing. On pairing. So basically each of these regions or territories is found someone to give out all the knowledge that they've accumulated during Bapaura, but we're also looking into building a project that will allow us to reinforce the one-stop shop and also be able to export it all over France. Obviously, this model is very specific to France, but there are many lessons to take away if you wanna apply this into your models everywhere in Europe. So yeah, we will be looking forward to building another project. Hopefully, it will be subsidized.
Yeah, actually, we started preparing really soon in the project because there was a strong need at the regional and national level for the tools we were creating, because the project started at the very right time and there is strong need. So we already work with twice as much territories, plus 2 other regions in France, which are Occitanie and Bretagne, so 2 full regions. And there is still some demand, so some territories are pairing with 2 others instead of 1, because they want to come into the we have a strong regional animation of technical people, and that's what works, because they come for the knowledge, for the experience of the others, and they create some tools and share best practices, and that's really working well, actually. So we quite expanded the project now.
So you've briefly mentioned the fact that some construction companies have certain inertia to kind of implement the same kind of solutions. And I was wondering whether in your region you faced the problem of the lack of skills to implement certain measures, and whether you had to do reskilling or
Yeah, in the project we have a task about some interaction with financiers or local companies. But actually it depends on the territories. As you see in the southwest, there is a community commune de la Châtaigneraie-Cantalienne, which is a very rural area with very small cities, and they have a problem because they currently have only one, for instance, consultancy, and they give the same advice for the past 20 years, I don't know. And so they have a lack of technical expertise in these specific territories. So yeah, that's a problem we currently face, especially more with in France right now. There is a lack of workforce in the building sector. So that doesn't really promote some innovation in the sector, or for now, most of them just try to find some workers or materials, because there is also a shortage of materials right now.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was wondering, as you mentioned the importance of trust between public authorities and their advisors, I was wondering whether from the project you have learned more about how to foster this trust, and how to essentially ensure that in the future municipalities take up these services a lot more.
Yeah, the service have formalized their offer. As I showed you before, it's that. This is a simplified version of an actual poster of a service. And they have that, and they have a full list of the services they can offer the municipalities. And they said at the very beginning, this will be our mission. We can correct it with you and make it as you wish exactly, but we will need to be here from the start, and we don't take your place in the signing of all the contracts, and we don't pay for the works, but this is our mission, and we can help you with that. And it's very clear from the beginning, and it needs to be. And also, usually the association that take this mission plus their other mission, usually what they already do is check the energy consumption of the different municipalities, and municipalities have already a contract with them for service, but just to check the bills, etc. And now they want to go further, because they realize that they have more and more needs and more calls from the municipalities who want to renovate their buildings, and it takes time, and so they need to formalize it in a way or another. They cannot just answer to every municipality that calls them and asks, I have a problem on the construction works, or I have a problem with this contract specifically, and please help us, and they can't do anything at that phase. So they needed really to have something very formal with the municipalities to explain the service. And yeah, it's working quite well.
Any further questions at this point? I don't see that we have any questions in the Zoom chat. So I would like to thank you once more, Marie and Rogelio, for your intervention. I hope that the service offer and the support which is offered to these small and medium-sized municipalities is much clearer to you now, and you can draw some ideas and conclusions to bring back home to your own regions across Europe to maybe support also small and medium-sized municipalities there. I would also like to draw your attention to the stands outside, as my colleague has mentioned before. So you have the stands in the hallway outside, representing different initiatives and projects. We will follow up after lunch. So now there's lunch break. And we will follow up in here in this room after lunch with a project representing an ELENA project, which is called Untitled. And for the time being, I wish you to enjoy your lunch, have good exchanges with your peers. Thanks for the attention, and see you soon in here again. Thank you.
We are here if you have questions, and you have some flyers of the project in English or in French, as you wish. We have both languages if you want to know more. Thank you.